Hey you guys, I am super stoked for this video. And if you don't already follow me on Instagram, I talked about over there how I had my first daughter, Luna, sleep through the night at 7 weeks. And then Brooks is sleeping through the night at 12 weeks. And sleeping through the night, to me anyways, is going to sleep, no feedings through the night. And once it's 6 a.m. and if they wake up, that's sleeping through the night. And then you can work on their wake time in the morning. So I am just gonna give you some tips and tricks and things that I did with my two babies to help them sleep through the night. And keep in mind, every baby's different. No two babies are the same. And I learned that when Brooks wasn't sleeping through the night at 7 weeks, because I was like, why is he not sleeping through the night? And everyone's all, honey, he's 7 weeks old. And so I just knew I really wanted to put a lot of effort and really give my babies tools to help them fall asleep on their own and not have props or me to be dependent on falling asleep, because I couldn't do a 4-month regression again. There's a 4-month sleep regression, which is really hard. And then also I didn't want to have them dependent on me, like when they're 1+ old and still can't take naps by themselves or go to sleep by themselves and that whole thing. So hopefully some of these tips work for you. If you have tips on what your baby did to help them get sleep through the night, put them down below, and make sure you subscribe and head over to my Instagram and follow me there too. And let's jump in. What I do with every single baby, the second they come out, the first 2 weeks is kind of hard, but after the 2 weeks, I'm very diligent about this. It's called a sleep, eat, wake cycle. A sleep, eat, wake cycle. So basically the baby wakes up from its sleep, it eats, and then it plays, which is your wake, and then goes back to sleep. The reason being is that if you're feeding your baby to sleep, so it's a eat sleep, that means they're getting dependent on the food, whether it's formula or your breast. So they're needing to be fed asleep to go to bed. They're not being able to go to sleep on their own. They need a prop, which is the bottle or the breast, to go to sleep. Not only that, is when they wake up from a nap, that's when they're the most energized, they're more alert, so they're getting bigger feedings. They're using food to go to sleep, and so when they're going to sleep, they're not getting as much as a full feeding as they should. So I always do that sleep, eat, wake cycle. The next thing is a swaddle. So Brooks' swaddle is actually packed away, and so I'll do a pop-up right here. But I think swaddling is super important. A lot of moms I've heard say, my baby hates swaddling. As I go further down, I will touch base on that. But I make sure my baby is swaddled, and I actually love the Halo swaddles, and I love the, what is it called? Ollie swaddles, because they have a zip and they have an open tie, so you don't have to unswaddle them in the middle of the night, because like I said, I don't have time for that. I need to sleep. When I'm done with swaddling with that, I go to a transition swaddle, and this is when they start rolling over. So this is a 3 to 9 month. This is basically a suit that makes them feel swaddled, but it's a transition to not being swaddled. And I love this suit because it's very thick, which is nice. But if it goes summertime, there's open zip pockets for airways, and it helps with their reflexes that they have. This brand is called Crib Culture, and by the way, everything I'm talking about of what I love, I will link down below, and it's also in my Amazon storefront. So then they go into this, and then after they do that, and they're sleeping pretty well through the night, they're not twitching or anything of that sort, I go to this is a company called Tilby, and this is just a sleep sack. So this is really nice because they can walk in it when they start to walk. They also have ones that have feet in it if it's really cold where you're at. And then they have different textures or different materials. So they have a really thick one for winter, which this is what Luna's sleeping in right now. And then they have a thin one for summer, and they have ones in between. And so I do the regular swaddle, and then I transition to this swaddle. Usually they'll be in this swaddle about 9 months for me, 2 9 months. And then I transition into this kind of sleep sack, and then she'll be into this until she grows out of it, which is 2 to 3 years old. So the next thing going with sleep is a sound machine, and I think this is super important. I've said in my past videos that I didn't want a sound machine when I had Luna because I didn't want her dependent on that. I wanted her to be able to sleep anywhere, anytime. But the reality is babies are in our womb and it is very, very loud in there, like a vacuum, or if you're standing in a bathroom with the shower going, it's really loud. So that kind of stuff soothes them. And so my favorite sound machine is the Hatch sound machine, and I like it because you can manually set the settings and the lightings, and you can tap it, and in the middle of the night it can barely go on, so you see just enough to eat or feed the baby and change the baby. So I would highly recommend getting a sound machine, especially the Hatch one, just because it's a lifesaver of having light to a minimum. The next thing is one I talk about of having sleep props. And so I make sure all my babies take Pinkies because they're lifesavers. They really are lifesavers, and I love Pinkies. I don't want them to get dependent on it, that when the Binky falls out that they wake up. So one little tip I always do, and Kalani's really great at this one, and he actually taught me this, is when the baby is going to sleep and the baby's not fully asleep, we always pull the Binky out and have them fall asleep. And if they wake up, we do it all over again. We try to settle them down, put them down, and then put the Binky in. And once they start falling asleep, pull the Binky right out. This way is that they're soothed, they're in that half asleep, half awake stage, but they're still putting themselves to sleep and not relying on a sleep prop. The next one is a huge one, and I wish I had her for my first baby, Luna, but I did a program with Brooks called Taking Care of Babies, and I started about 11 weeks and Brooks was sleeping through the night at 12 weeks. I don't want to give away all her tips and tricks because that's what the plans are for, but I did do her program, and I did the Will I Ever Sleep Again program. She was great. She was amazing. She gave me a lot of great insight. She gave me tools to help my baby fall asleep. And then if your baby is past the newborn stage and is in like the later stages of like 5 months on, she has other programs that you can look into. The next thing that I absolutely love is a bottle at night. So a bottle at night I think is huge because you're training your baby to take a bottle. And B is if you want to go anywhere during the day or have dad take a night feeding to help you get a block of sleep, which that's something that me and Kalani did, and it was amazing because I was getting 8 hours of sleep by like 4 weeks when Brooks was 4 weeks old, because he was only doing one feeding in the night and Kalani was doing it when he was home. And not at the station, and so I was getting full night's rest, and I would just have Kalani sleep in an hour or two later while I had the kids in the morning. And then also, if you want to go anywhere, you're not stuck on this time constraint, that you can leave baby with, you know, grandpa and grandma or your husband or your partner, and they can give them a bottle. But the reason I like a bottle at night is I felt like I could actually see how much Brooks was getting, and he was getting a full feeding, which I really liked, filling his tummy up and having him get that full feeding for the whole entire night, so he is settled and not going to bed hungry. And so my last tip for you guys is proper wake times. So a lot of times we're just tired, we just want our baby to go to sleep, and their sleep schedule is really sporadic. I always made sure my baby was on a schedule. My baby is not a robot, so they're not going to be wake at 9, wake at 11, it's going to be different every day, but I try to keep it within a 30-minute time range. But I was making sure they had proper wake times. So with Taking Care of Babies, or with online, you can look at it too. You can Google like how much wake time should my baby have, put the weeks in that they're how old they are. There's usually charts that shows like, you know, 3 to 6 weeks or 6 to 9 weeks. This is how much wake time they should be getting, and making sure they get that proper wake time, so when they do go to sleep, they are sleepy and they're getting their restful sleep during the day, so they're not overtired at night. Because it's true, when a baby's not getting enough sleep during the day, they're overtired at night, and they're going to be awake for that. And oh, you know what? Bonus tip, you guys, just kidding. Another thing is babies don't know the difference between night and day. So it is daytime. I made sure the blinds are open, it's bright inside, music's going, lots of fun things, bright colored things. And when it's nighttime, make sure everything is dark. don't turn on the TV, don't have a bright cell phone screen out, just have that little Hatch nightlight you can press, and the baby will know, okay, it's nighttime, it's time to sleep. Daytime, it's awake, it's time to play. So anyways, you guys, I hope those help with you guys, some tips and tricks. I have actually a playlist that is about all the pregnancy things that I love with nursing, things that I love for my babies, things that I don't love. And then I have a whole entire thing of a health fitness journey of my journey I'm going on now. So go and watch those playlists, and I will see you guys next time.